Hello and welcome to another captaincy video and podcast of the 2020-21 season from Fantasy Football Scout. Game week 4 was once again a crazy week for many of our top choices. They all blanked. Well, some didn't. I actually did okay with Raheem Sterling as my captaincy. But can we do better in game week 5? Let's hope so. My name is Joe. Usually joining me is David, but unfortunately David has an issue to tackle with his wisdom teeth. So get well soon there. Meanwhile, on with the programme. Form versus fixtures is the key problem many of us are having this season. The fixture, home and away, minnow or premium, is looking increasingly irrelevant. Form seems to be key, but will the season revert to the mean? What better way to find out than consider captaining one of Kane or Son? On paper, they've got a great game against West Ham. Until, that is, you realise that West Ham are amongst the best defences and attacks of the season so far, and have recently hammered Wolves and Leicester. So yeah, I'm just going to put some stats up on the screen here so we can see how prolific Kane and Son are. So Kane has scored 3 goals. He has 6 assists. But he's posting 19 goal attempts so far. 14 are inside the box and 10 on target. And he's created 11 chances. So this isn't just Kane of old, where he was peppering the goal with lots of shots from close range. This was the classic Kane. He's now adding loads of chance creation, loads of assist potential as well to his game. He's a really good asset now. He's gone up in price, probably will again. During the international break ahead of game week 5. But look at Son, 6 goals, 10 goal attempts, 7 inside the box, 7, all of them on target, just 1 assist. So strangely, the midfielder Son is now the hitman. He's the guy scoring most goals, and Kane is the guy that's chipping in with some great goals and posting great underlying attacking stats. But he's the real chance creation guy as well. Son with 13 chances created, Kane with 11, but Kane with those 6 assists. That is key. Yeah, they're looking really great shouts. Now I'm going to come to West Ham defence in a second. But first, because I'm going to mention Man City. Because Man City struggled against Leeds last time out. De Bruyne blanked. Sterling did get me some points, but looking forward, he's got an injury flag on him. So is he going to be fit? And also, is he going to be playing as striker? He's not as effective as the striker. Will Jesus be back? Will Aguero be back? He has been spotted in training. These are lots of unanswered questions. Do keep tuned to Neil's team news later in the week. It's going to be on Friday, and he was chatting to Neil about that. That's going to be very interesting to find out what's going on in Man City, if we can get that information from Pep. So yeah, are they viable options against Arteta's Arsenal? Man City against Arsenal? Possibly. I mean, at the moment, De Bruyne is tentatively my captain, but I'm not sure at the moment. So I'm going to be waiting to see what happens for the rest of this week. But I did a bit of research into comparing the Arsenal and the West Ham defences. So the image I've got on the screen is using the comparison tool in Fantasy Football Scout members area. You can already see that overall West Ham are performing way better than Arsenal. And this is in terms of defence, this is in terms of attack as well. So on paper, you would think West Ham were the worst side, but it's in fact Arsenal. So which makes me lean towards KDB more than it would Son or Kane. So looking at some of those stats in detail. So in terms of defending, Arsenal have conceded 46 goal attempts. West Ham 38, so a bit less there. Goal attempts conceded, open play goal attempts conceded, so 31 there for West Ham, much more, 35 for Arsenal. But then looking at some of the other stats as well, so I was looking at something like, say, big chances conceded. Now this is quite a good metric to look at, whether a defence is any good. Arsenal conceded 7 big chances this season so far. West Ham have conceded 4. So errors as well. in terms of the Opta stats that the members area has got here, the number of errors that Arsenal's defence have conceded is 3. And then the number of West Ham is 1. So as we can see, they're just simply on paper, well, I say on paper, old paper, West Ham were not good. But now they're the better side than Arsenal. It's going to be a tough decision. Keep an eye on team news. At the moment, I think it's Son or Kane against KDB, and if they have a striker, I think these are the top choices so far. But there are others as well. If you're talking tough to call, it's got to be Everton against Liverpool. Merseyside derby, always tough to call, could go either way, not sure what's going to happen. But surely Liverpool will bounce back. I mean, they were absolutely hammered by Villa last time out. Mane could be back. That will help. But can Calvert-Lewin stop scoring for Everton, especially? But especially, can he stop scoring if James Rodriguez is late back from international duty? So we've got a picture of Rodriguez up. We're looking at him in international mode. He's playing late. He's one of the late ones, coming back to the Premier League. Not sure. So, I mean, looking at the stats, Calvert-Lewin looks to be possibly the best captaincy shout in this game. 6 big chances, 6 goals. There we go. His expected goals as well, 3.74. Calvert-Lewin is scored for his country now, and he can't stop scoring for Everton. I think he's a good shout. He's potentially a good shout. Salah can never be ignored. Despite Liverpool's heavy defeat, he still came away with a 13-point return. Number of big chances this season so far, 4, very healthy. And his expected goals is getting on to nearly 3 there. And he's in fact scored 5. So a little bit, expected goals is a little bit under. Could have been slightly fortunate, but we know what Salah's about. Lots of shots. Keep an eye. I'd see if Mane's back as well. That will help the Liverpool formation and attack in general. But I think they're both very good options there. But there are others as well. Now, Manchester United. What is going on with Manchester United? Fernandes on paper against Newcastle. Ordinarily Rashford, Martial. These will all be good options. But Newcastle are performing quite well this season, and Manchester United are not. Will they get their act together? We can hope so. I've got some figures on the screen here. This is about expected goals, and this is quite telling about Manchester United in comparison really to Newcastle as well. So expected goals, Manchester United are there with 3.73, so just under 4 goals they were expected to score. As a benchmark, West Brom are the worst. They're expected to score about 1 or 2. But then Newcastle are a bit higher. They're a bit higher, nearly 5 goals. So their expected goals is 4.93. So they're performing better. The top one, incidentally, going back to Kane and Son, is Spurs, 9.67. So they were expected to score around 10 goals. So put that in comparison. Fernandes expected to score around 3 or 4. Rather, Manchester United expected to score 3 or 4. Virtually all penalties, so it may as well be Fernandes. Interesting though, in terms of the captaincy, Fernandes is not putting up a good case. Martial's not putting up a good case. Rashford, we're just not sure about at the moment. So there are, when we're getting to this has usually been in the show where with David, I would say, let's scrape the barrel a bit and find out who else we would pick. So I mean, just go back to that picture again of the fixtures, really. Just have a look at some of the other matchups there. Chelsea against Southampton, interesting. Danny Ings potentially against a Mendy-less Chelsea backline could be interesting. Of course, Chelsea have been doing really well. But according to the expected goal stats, it looks like they may have got slightly lucky. And I suppose that would be the penalties that have been scored. So the expected goals is 6.87, so very high. But the goals they've scored is 10. So they're overperforming what their expected goals are. But Southampton are sort of par for the course, really. Much lower down, nearly 5 for their expected goals. But the goals they've actually scored is 5. So they're par for the course. And we've seen with that heavy defeat they had with Spurs, they've tightened up at the back. Their emphasis is much more on defence rather than attack. All that says to me, I don't think I trust Ings. I don't think I trust the Chelsea forwards. I don't know who's going to be playing and where they're going to be playing enough for the armband. So I'm personally not interested. Tactical. If you want a tactical contest and you sort of like to have a bit of hope over the weekend and leave your captaincy until the Monday, Leeds against Wolves. We saw what Leeds did against Man City. We've seen in the past what Jimenez can do. Jimenez is good at taking chances, a few chances that is. So not a heavy scorer, but a scorer. Both have conceded 8 big chances so far this season. It says to me there's potential for goals there in that Leeds-Wolves game. And I think Jimenez is a shout, not a big shout, but he is a shout for the captaincy. Perhaps not as much as the Spurs or Man City assets. Meanwhile, my team Brighton take on Crystal Palace. And that I say that with a heavy heart because I know Zaha's going to play. And Zaha always scores against Brighton. That's just the way it is. So there should be goals. But in Mbappe and Trossard, there could be options there. If you're after a differential, Zaha, Mbappe, Trossard, I think there's going to be goals in this game. Palace have conceded 10 big chances this season. Brighton have conceded 8. That says to me there's going to be goals in this game. The pedigree of this fixture says there's going to be goals, and Zaha's track record against Brighton is very good. There we go. So that's a bit of biased personal insight for that one. But just before we go, I just wanted to mention the members area there. We've seen some of the stats we've had there, the comparison tool, and looking at, and some of those as well, the other stats I've got from my own tables I've created as well, and you can create your own. I particularly like for the captaincy video before we come on air, what I like to do is have a look at the team attacking and the team defending stats to have a look at things like expected goals conceded. But time to go. We'll see David next week, hopefully. In the meantime, good luck with all of your captaincy decisions. Goodbye.